Hi everyone, David here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming back for another video, or welcome if it's your first time. Thanks for joining us. Are you doing okay? I'm doing okay. It's just really hot in Osaka now. We've reached July. This is July the 2nd as I'm recording this. And rainy season seems to have gone already. It hasn't rained that much, so we're roasting in Osaka. That's not just British people talking about the weather. That's pertinent towards today's information. I'm talking to you about the Osaka Expo. You're probably getting sick of this little guy. I think I'm starting to get sick of him too. I've been making these twice a month kind of pavilion diaries that I've been visiting. I've been there 10 times now, and the end is perhaps getting in sight now. We're almost halfway through the event itself. This little guy's driving me crazy trying to get into some of these pavilions that are difficult to book. So I'm going to help you with that. I'm going to tell you firstly how to book. I've done some information about that previously, about how to have a good, enjoyable visit at the expo. Please check out that video. I'm going to briefly talk about the reservations again, but mostly I'm going to focus on which pavilions you need to reserve, which ones you don't, which ones are kind of in the liminal space, the twilight zone, where sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Yeah, so I'm going to navigate through the muddy waters of the reservation system. So hopefully that's useful for you. I'm going to try and fight with this guy. So before that, please like this video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this video with anybody who's planning to visit the expo. This will be useful for them. And also leave a comment or a question. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy for the attention. So yeah, let me have it. If there are mistakes, then please let me know. Put it in the comments. Be nice though. I've really tried hard to make sure everything's correct. And things are subject to change. I think things are generally settling down a little bit now. The amount of reservations you need for certain pavilions has been ebbing and flowing. I think they've found a nice little middle zone now. So hopefully it won't change too much after this. But there we go. So I'm going to go straight to my little PowerPoint zone. You can see I'm already in the Myaku verse. So I'm going to put him down for now. So let's go to my first slide. Let's take a look at how to make reservations. So there are some important things to remember. First, before you do any reservations, you've got to book your entry day, book your entry time, and book your entry gate as well. After that, you can start making reservations. You can reschedule your entry day and all the other stuff, but you will lose all your reservations. So you have to start back at square one. You can adjust it up to 3 times before you're stuck. For the day ticket holders, but people getting the passes, they don't need to worry about that. So the season pass and the summer pass, which is coming into effect very soon, in a couple of weeks I think, that's good. So if you're thinking about getting a pass, if you're going to get the miles in and visit a lot, then you might want to consider the complete pass, the season pass I think it's called. But the summer pass is going to run for about 6 weeks, from the middle of July to the end of August. So that might be a cheaper option for you if you don't mind the heat. So once you've booked all your date and your time, the gate is also important. Most people are entering through the East Gate, which is where the metro station is. The West Gate is for people arriving by shuttle bus or maybe taxis, and what's the other one? Boats as well. There's a port. Excuse me. So before we were pretty separate. The West Gate is a lot quieter. And they have opened a new footpath from the East Gate to the West Gate that takes you outside the park and all the way around. I've heard it takes about 15 to 20 minutes on foot. There's not a lot of shade though, so please be careful. So if you want to do that, come out of the train station at the East Gate if you want to arrive there. And there's a little path across the road or under the road where the flags are. So in the middle of the flags there's a little route out, and you just kind of follow it around, hug the wall of the Expo Park, and you'll eventually get to the West Gate. So that might be good if you're having trouble booking the times you want to, because they're booking up fast. So my first advice is to book early so you can get an earlier slot. Now once you've reserved things, we have 4 chances to get reservations. Good luck if you're going to get all 4. First, we've got the 2-month lottery, which runs from 3 months before entry to 2 months plus 1 day before entry. If you reach your 2 months before, then it's too late already. That is entering you into a lottery. You can choose up to 5 reservations to enter. they can be all same pavilion at different times. They can be different pavilions, different times. You can mix and match, that's all okay. But you will only get a maximum of 1 reservation out of that. So you're not going to get 5, you're only going to get 1. So they go for your first choice first, then the second, then third, all the way down. And if you don't get anything, then there we go. I've had that experience already. Some things are not panning out with the 2-month advance lottery. Then you've got the 7-a-day advance lottery, which is 1 month to 8 days before entry. Same deal, choose 5 and then you'll get 1 of them at best. Then brace yourself, we've got the little trolley dash crazy moment, the available slot reservations, also known as the first come first served. So 3 days before your entry at that midnight, so it's, I don't know, 3 and a bit days I guess, they will open the reservations up for, you know, just grab what you can. You can only grab 1 reservation at midnight. Log in early, log in probably before 11 o'clock just to make sure you can get in. And even then, good luck to you, because the website keeps crashing consistently. You'll get constant error messages for ages and you'll be furious like I have been. So good luck if you get anything. If it's, to be honest, if it's after 1 a.m, then probably most of the things have gone already, unless you're getting wheelchair access pavilions. Yeah, be careful, because the pavilions do have wheelchair access ones and regular access, so make sure you're choosing the right one. If you get a wheelchair access reservation and then you don't have a wheelchair, surprise, surprise, they're not going to let you in. So that's the crazy midnight rush. I hate this so much. I'll be glad to see the back of this. And then when you actually enter the park, 10 minutes afterwards, the website should hopefully refresh and you can try to get on-site reservations on the same day. Again, good luck with that. People are snatching up reservations as soon as they find them. If you enter at 9 o'clock and you can get in quite early, then there's a good chance you can grab something, especially on a weekday. Weekdays are a lot easier. And there are special terminals throughout the park. You'll see them on the big map, but you can actually line up and do the manual thing on the website. And I think that's probably a bit more reliable. Haven't tried it yet though. So there we go. Good luck with the reservations. So we're getting harder and harder. Reserving anything on the weekend is becoming a little nightmare. So maybe you don't want to bother with all that. Maybe you just want to see what you can get into without any bother at all. So here we are, onto the juicy bits. So let's take a look at the countries you can, or the pavilions you can enter with no restrictions at all, just free entry, just line up and go in. So we've got quite a few. We've got Azerbaijan, we've got Bahrain, Brazil, China, Colombia, Czechia, Malta, Monaco, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Turkey, I don't know how you pronounce that, Turkey, the UAE, Uzbekistan, and the Nordic Circle. That is a collaboration of all the Nordic countries of Denmark, Finland, Sweden, Iceland and Norway. They're all in one pavilion. So you can just line up for those and hope for the best. Some of them are quite long lines. Malta seems to have a long line for some reason. China obviously has a long one. But yeah, usually they're not too bad. UAE, you can often just walk straight in, so that's this is a very big space. My advice, don't line up for the Nordic Circle if it's a long line, because it's yeah, a little bit minimal. Also with no restrictions are the Commons Pavilions. Now a lot of the small countries have slots in the Commons Pavilions. There's probably over 100 countries represented in the Commons. There are 4 big ones, A, B, C, D. Those are the big Commons Pavilions. And there's F, which is, I think it's only got 3 countries inside. There is a Commons E, if you're wondering, but that's kind of been used as a temporary exhibition space, and I'm not sure what they are going to do with it. It's just kind of random stuff in there. No countries though. Also there's an international organizations pavilion, which is a bit like the Commons, only not for countries. They've got things like the ASEAN Union in there, and a few other ones like that, so you can check those out for free too. Also, there are a few kind of miscellaneous ones. Earth at Night, which despite the name is nothing to do with astronomy. It's a kind of a lacquered globe, which is very impressive, but not about space, just don't worry about that. The European Union has one too, the Future Life Village. Not to be confused with the Future City. That is a large pavilion. I'll talk about that later. Future Life Village is in the Westgate area, off to the back of the park. That has a lot of various bits and bobs about future life. They've got Mars, a meteorite there, I think, something like that. I'm not confusing with the Japan Pavilion. There's some in there too. There is also JAXA, the Japan Space Agency, so you can see a nice movie there. There's the Ora Gaishoku Utage, which is Ora is the Osaka Restaurant Association. So there's lots of restaurants and food workshops there, which is kind of interesting. On the second floor, you can make some noodles, and you can make okonomiyaki. And finally, Yoshimoto, the Comedy Pavilion. Yoshimoto's famous comedians, theatre in Namba. They've got a big open area with kind of amateur karaoke area. There's also a display inside the big kind of smiley face thing, which is very bizarre. Don't line up for that for a long time. You can just walk in the evening if you really want to take a look at it. So those are the totally free with no restrictions. So that doesn't seem like a lot, does it? But the next page hopefully will make you feel a bit better. This is free entry with possible restrictions. What I mean by this is that sometimes the lines get long and it's kind of impractically long. They're going to spill out into the main walkways. So they've limited the lines sometimes when it's busy. So you might not be able to line up for it. They might have other restrictions. They might close it to, let down the crowd size a little bit. So these are mostly open, mostly free. So you've got a fairly good bet you can see these countries without any trouble. So we've got Algeria, Angola, Austria, the Baltic Pavilion, which is a collaboration of Lithuania and Latvia, Bangladesh, Belgium, Bulgaria, Cambodia, Chile, Egypt, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Ireland, Jordan, Luxembourg, Malaysia, Mozambique, Oman, Peru, the Philippines, Portugal, Qatar, Romania, Senegal, Spain, Switzerland, Tunisia, Turkmenistan, and the United States of America. They vary very greatly in size and line length. For example, places like Algeria and the Baltics, you can pretty much walk in there. It doesn't take very long to walk in. Well, Belgium has quite a long line, but again, it doesn't take that long. Egypt has a colossal line. It's not large, but it takes a long time. They let people in very slowly. France and USA have by far the longest lines of any of the free pavilions. I've heard the French one moves quicker than it looks, so it looks like a colossal line, but it might not take that long. I haven't brought myself up to it yet. It's too sunny. I'm just gonna bide my time. And the USA, they let people in groups, so timing is everything. There is an English tour as well. The English tour group line opens once an hour at 30 minutes past the hour until 7:30. So if you can speak English well, then you don't even really need to speak English that well, because it's mostly displays and things. So you might want to join the English tour because that's a lot shorter. But yeah, most of these you can just wander into, and there's not too much trouble. Okay, so that's quite a lot of pavilions you can wander into. Now let's look at some where you can reserve them, but you could just wait in the line. Okay, so we've got quite a few of these too. We've got Australia, Canada, Hungary, Poland, Serbia, South Korea, Thailand, United Kingdom, the Women's Pavilion in collaboration with Cartier, the EDA Group's collaboration with Osaka Metropolitan University, the Red Cross and the Red Crescent, the United Nations, the Japanese Pavilion, and the Netherlands. I'll deal with those first. Those ones you can reserve, you don't need to. You can just wait for them to let you in. For example, the Women's Pavilion has sometimes they let you line up for cancellations. So that's, for example. Japan does have a free entry time. They've got 9 o'clock to 10:45 in the morning, and also after 6:30. The Netherlands also 9:30 to 10:30, and also after 7. So if you go there at that time, you can just freely enter. You have to line up to get in though, still, if you don't reserve. Other times you do have to reserve that one. Now, I do strongly reserve the following ones. Again, you could line up for them, but no guarantees. These are harder to get into. We've got Italy and the Holy See, they're together. Tech World, which is kind of on the down low. This is the Taiwanese pavilion, but they can't call it that. The Blue Ocean Dome, Persona Natureverse, Future City, Kuwait, Mitsubishi, Sumitomo, and the Gas Pavilion. These have very long lines. You can wait for cancellations if you want, but you might be waiting for a long time. Future City is a very huge area too, so it might be worth reserving that instead of having to wait outside. It's very sunny out there too. Italy and the Holy See has a huge line as well. I think that's also one of the longest ones in the park. But it can be done. But if you manage to get one of those golden reservations, even better. Kuwait's very popular too, and these other company ones are quite hard to come by too. So those are the ones where you can reserve, but you don't necessarily have to. Now let's move on to these signature pavilions. These are eight pavilions designed by famous Japanese artists or scientists, and they come in a few different flavors too. Some of them are reservation only, no exceptions, no cancellations. You just have to get a reservation. So the Betako being the elusive 02, Nulunuru as they call it, and Earth Mart. You do need a reservation for these, no ifs, no buts. There are cancellation lines available for the Dialogue Theatre, Sign of Life, the Dynamic Equilibrium of Life, and Future of Life pavilions. So that means you can reserve it, and you probably should reserve it, but you could bide your time and wait for some cancellations. Also, the Playground of Life, the Jellyfish Pavilion, and Live Earth Journey, they do need reservations, but there are free areas that you can go into. Live Earth Journey has a little outside display, excuse me, and the Jellyfish Pavilion, I can't say that, on the top floor, there's a little playground. You don't need a reservation for that at all. So good luck with the signature pavilions. Excuse me, I'm going very dry. Let's see what's left. What else have we got? Reservations only. We've got some of the company ones. We've got the Kansai Pavilion, we've got the Electric Power Pavilion, Panasonic, Gundam Next Future, and the Sauna Taiyo Tsubomi. These need reservations. End of story. It does seem like the Kansai Pavilion and the Gundam one are often available in the same day reservations, so you might be able to snatch one of those. Electric Power is not too bad either. Panasonic I've very rarely seen. I've never seen the sauna pop up on there. Maybe you need to reserve that before. Excuse me. There are a few that you can access certain areas of it, but you need a reservation for the main thing. So Osaka Healthcare, the Reborn experience, you need to reserve that, but you can get into the restaurant underneath. The Air Mobility Station, you can see the big drone taxi, but you can't get in and have a photo taken, which you need a reservation for. Excuse me, oh dear. NTT, I don't really know what areas are free access there, but for most of it you do need a reservation. And Under the Midnight Rainbow, this is the water show. Currently it has been cancelled completely because they found Legionella bacteria in the pipes. So until they work that out, they are cancelling it. It does seem to have been replaced by another drone show. There usually was only a drone show at 9 o'clock. There's also seems to be one at 8 o'clock now, or possibly a little bit earlier. So you can check out the drone show a bit early instead. And to be confirmed is Nepal. Nepal has not opened yet. That's why it's to be confirmed. But I have got word that it has restarted construction. They had some trouble with the construction process and the contractors, but that is confirmed to be coming soon. So they are finishing things off. For example, Angola was much delayed. That's just opened a couple last week, I think. So, okay, I think that's everything. So those are all of the pavilions I could think of to give you information for. Hope that's useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about it, but otherwise stay tuned to this channel. I've got lots more information for you, including a look at all the pavilions. Eventually I'll start to compile them so you can watch them in chunks, and yeah, that's about it. Okay, so I've got all these secrets now. Hopefully I might be able to spill some more secrets by the end of this event. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, like I said, leave a comment or a question, and also share this channel to anybody who's thinking of going to the expo. This will help them out a lot. Leave me a super like if you found this really useful and you were searching around for useful information about reservations, and here it is. Please help me out, because I don't make any money from this channel apart from through donations. I haven't been monetized yet, but please help me out. That's enough for today. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you again in the future. Okay, take care. Bye bye.